All right, we're going to get started. Hello, everyone. This is Giuseppe Marzelli. I am co-founder and head of business development at Ovation CXM. Today, I'm joined by Alex Benjamin at AEVI, and we're going to provide an AEVI native demo of basically what comes with the all-in-one AEVI solution out of the box, what your merchants should expect. So really excited to dive into the software. Feel free to write in your questions. We'll save questions for the end. I will be asking some questions throughout the demo, but Alex, I'll let you take it away from here.
Thanks, Joey. Happy to be here. So what I'm demoing today is a 7-inch Android device on an XAC solution that we'll be powering with a third-party POS software called Register. The screen you're seeing here is the desktop screen in which the actual application will live. The product that you'll be seeing in the market for your customers will be a little bit more simplified. It'll just say getting started in settings. The credit card decal won't be there, and the entire screen will be outfitted with the logo of our partners. And so logging into the screen is pretty simple. We're just going to click register, and it's going to have two main options here. The goal of the actual application itself is to have, essentially a point of sale solution that is easy to use, and that is a graduation from, let's say, your dumb terminal that doesn't offer any POS functionality, but it's still very lightweight. So this isn't focused on hospitality or full service restaurants or complicated retail setups. This is focused on your mom and pop shops that you're looking to actually capture additional recurring revenue and provide them with the solution to help them manage their business. Now, the solution is pretty user friendly in the sense that it has two main logins, as you can see here. When you log in between supervisor or user, you're just going to click start day, and then you're going to actually enter the cash drawer if there's any sort of cash drawer limit there, and it's going to go ahead and ask you to kind of follow through the prompts. Now, this is a pre-populated demo device with a catalog of items obviously already loaded. For all your net new merchants, they're going to be responsible for loading their inventory, which is a pretty straightforward process. But one of the things that we like about this product that hopefully will provide a good merchant experience are the easy to use and easy to access help guides and getting started videos. So when this is sold in the field, it's not about understanding the actual solution from end to end in order for them to get to use it, but they simply can click on the getting started button on the bottom left, which will prompt a how-to video on how to use the actual solution from end to end. And this is starting from a blank start. So what I'll do here, and you probably won't be able to hear the actual sound, but this play button is actually an active video that you can go ahead and put on the device and walk through the actual onboarding process to use the actual application. So I'll pause here and let this video kind of walk through some screens of some basic functionality that exists that frankly does a better job of explaining it than I would manually.
So all merchants will have access to this when they
Exactly.
receive the terminal. And of course, the Ovation team and our partners will help with training and activation. But I know that there are a lot of self-learners out there, especially for the agents that want to get more comfortable with the device and how to use it. So as you're walking around with an AV terminal and selling it to merchants, this is a great opportunity to really learn what the look and feel is for your merchant.
Exactly.
And I see we're adding products right here on the terminal. Is there a way to add products remotely, like on desktop or anything, or everything is just right here on the terminal for
So it
the
can
for
be
the merchant?
It's a good question. So it can be done through desktop or on the terminal directly. Every merchant that gets on board with this will have an enrollment code emailed to their merchant business email address. That enrollment code will have a link, and they can go ahead and log into the portal that allows them to upload an Excel file that matches the inventory that they have at their business. So
And can I
depending on
do
how
the?
many products you have, either way is definitely an option.
I'm seeing barcode scanning as well. So
Yep.
those different codes for each item. Can they add the picture online, or is that a library that you guys have of pictures available?
Yes, so they would add their own pictures online. We don't have a default library of different products, so it'd be completely customized, and they can also take pictures using the terminal of the actual products that are in their store on their shelf.
And that online version that they get emailed when they first activate the terminal, I assume that that has some other reporting and another view of the reporting versus just looking at it on the terminal.
That's correct. Yeah, the reporting is similar, but the actual data replicates what they can see on the terminal. So whether they want to log into their desktop or their phone, or just get the transaction data from the terminal, it essentially mirrors it regardless of how it's being used.
Got it.
So moving on, let's focusing on kind of the experience and training, which is obviously, I think, the most important part of activating a merchant and making a successful sale. There's also, a user guide built into the terminals, right? So as you onboard this actual customer and they have, additional questions, whether they contact Ovation directly or contact you guys, there's always this kind of troubleshooting this menu here that allows them to effectively, go through the layouts, understand how the functions work. If there's register configuration or reports that they have questions about accessing, this is all built directly into the terminal. Of course, this needs to be connected to Wi-Fi, but this table of contents here tends to be quite useful for any merchants that have additional questions after the time of activation. And so moving on, just kind of going through the experience of using the terminal on a day-to-day basis. Obviously, you'll see your products here. It's simply just clicking through, adding the different products to the basket. This was actually preloaded with some dietary restrictions, which is an option for merchants. So you'll see this prompt here regarding the gluten allergy as the merchant actually goes through the menu. And then here you'll actually see the basket with the items that I added. So going through the process is very straightforward. You'll see coffee, cookie, a piece of cake that has gluten. And to complete the transaction, you're going to be seeing this menu right here. This menu allows you to pick cash options, and obviously credit card is going to be probably your main form of payment. And it also allows you to add tip if you need to add tip, or potentially adjust this transaction based on a promotion that you guys have going on there, or essentially changing the actual basket. So you'll see the summary here where you can click on this summary tab. You'll click back, but to actually go through the transaction, you're simply going to have the merchant click card. It's going to process the request, and I have a card here in my hand. The payment application is going to come up. You can tap on the actual device, and then it's going to go ahead and process the application. The actual authorization is going to be a little bit quicker in a production environment, and you'll be prompted here to print receipts, email receipts, and there's also a gift option as well if it's configured for gift as well after the transaction. This is all sort of built-in functionality. Most people don't want to waste receipts, so this option is prompted as a default mechanism versus printing out the receipt every time a transaction is done. And then we are back to the main screen to process the next transaction for the merchant.
So there's one screen on the AV terminal. So when you have the tender options, you're going to turn that to the customer, and they're going to select their tender options themselves, right? And then fall through the transaction. You guys have a built-in printer. We've talked about before where it is Wi-Fi, enabled. It has there are cellular capabilities as well. So it's mobile. You can walk around with it. But with the tender options, I know that there is some cash discount or surcharge built into the native software here. And then is there dual pricing, or how does that work with the AV software?
Yes. So if you see on the bottom portion of the screen, you'll see discount that allows you to add, a transaction percentage discount or price discount, right? And so this is how this particular, function would be enabled. Surcharge isn't quite available. Our payment application has surcharge natively built into it, but the software developer needs to update the UI to allow surcharge to be effectively implemented into this product. But they would be using this button here to apply the cash discount on the transaction. And there's not dual pricing available, right? So you can create promotions in different sort of, I guess, dual products, right? You can have Cake Light and Cake Pro or whatever that may be. That is one way to go about it, but it really depends on the merchant setup and how many products they have, on whether that is an actual effective strategy to implement as far as doing dual pricing, if that makes sense, Joey.
Yep, that makes sense. And then can you preset it for the cash discount? You'll have to go per per transaction, right? You can't preset it for all the transactions right now until the surcharge button is added to the software. Is that correct? Or updated
That's
in the
correct.
UI?
Yep,
Okay.
that's correct. And then as far as kind of transaction history, going back to data, all the information based on, what the merchant is doing can be easily accessed here from a reporting perspective. You can do refunds remotely as well. So if someone comes in and they're unhappy or they want to return something, this can be done directly on the terminal through the refund and void function. And those transactions can be obviously accessed directly through this interface as well. But you also have the option to access the transactions through the web portal interface. Lastly, we have kind of taxes and products. We have staff capabilities where you can add unlimited users, right, based on sort of their permissions and credentials. So obviously, to track the people that are, handling the money at your business, you're going to create a PIN for them. You're going to create their user level, whether it's POS user or POS supervisor. And so whenever they log in, they'll have their own user credentials. And there's no limit to adding the number of user credentials. You can also, look into the product section where the videos sort of explain what you can do, but you can scan the barcode right and it'll populate the products within the application for easy kind of product and inventory onboarding. And then lastly, just transaction history, taxes. These are all things that, on a case-to-case basis, depending on the type of business, you can add this information in here based on sort of, how you apply taxes to your products. And so one of the things regarding taxes, which, technically could be applicable for cash discount across all the items, instead of, even though the prompt says tax details, you could easily just make this sort of a cash discount percentage, right, for the item. So it's applied across the board. And then you'll be able to sort of, implement that strategy of having cash discount across all your items, because of course this will be applied to all the products that are within the actual POS. Joey, any questions in the chat that I can answer?
One question just on text receipts, and I've been looking at the different. I know there's right now today, everyone we're going over what comes with AV out of the box. We'll set up later sessions for different software packages that you can get with AV later on. But in the native software, in the out of the box software, Alex, is there text receipts? Is that in development, or is it just emailing and then not printed receipts?
Correct. So text receipts really just need to be turned on, right? That is a functionality that's native within the actual application that you see in front of you. There is an available upgrade path that is, going to be rolled out shortly after we roll out this initial version that is actually the same software, but it has different levels and, functionality meant to really serve the more complex needs of a business. So when you think about the solution, I would say it's very similar to, let's say, your Clover Flex, to your Clover restaurant, to your Clover retail, right? There's a clear upgrade path, but just in full transparency, the upgrade path, although it's already ready from a product perspective, we're actually starting this out in partnership with Ovation to keep it simple, to keep it easy, to keep it affordable. And then when your merchants do want to graduate or everyone is comfortable with the baseline solution, we'll start offering the different versions that frankly have already been out in the market and other sort of distribution channels, but we're starting out in a phased approach with this product.
Yeah, it makes sense, and I'll make sure to keep keep everyone updated on those different packages. But again, right now we're going to very much focus on the out of the box AV solution as we're seeing it today.
Perfect. And it is on a 7-inch Android device, so it's not 5 inches in the sense that it's going to be cumbersome for someone to actually use it. It's a nice white piece of hardware that fits pretty cleanly in a place of business. The actual software from a register perspective, when you go into the actual portal, you can white label it. You can put your own logo on this. You can upload it with your own color scheme as well. So everything you see here from dark purple, it can be dark red, it can be bright orange. However you decide to color scheme it, that is something that is easily accessible and turnkey for any of the resellers that are out there.
Yep, and if you look at my screen right now, you'll see how the screen looks. It's, again, very durable, doesn't feel flimsy. It's a good solid device. So, really, again, a great all-in-one terminal you can leave behind. You can have a lot of confidence that it shouldn't break or have any issues. Again, I like the look and feel, like the weight of it. It doesn't feel. I know some of the smart terminals that we've seen in the past are a little flimsy. They just don't have that. They don't have enough weight, and it just feels like every single time I pass it off to a merchant, the merchant's going to break it.
That's right. And as far as using the actual smart terminal, it obviously has settings to connect to Wi-Fi. It has screensaver functionality. It has, putting it to sleep. These are all things that will be part of kind of the support aspect, if things need to be optimized for the merchant. But updates are constantly pushed to it. As you can see here in the right-hand corner, it says update data. This is for, different software updates that potentially would be pushed to it, different functionality. All these things are made available to you and your merchants. And with the Ovation partnership, as we continue along this path and grow it, there will be other kind of features, functionality, solutions, value-added services added to this technology stack, because we do power a fully fledged smart pause platform. But initially, we're keeping it super simple, super digestible for your merchants, and most affordably at a